Hello. So yesterday, before the video ended, I told you to start thinking of questions that you have about bears in real life. Because today we're going to be reading a nonfiction book about bears. And while we're reading, we're going to be looking for new information. But before we read, one thing that we do is we are thinking about what we already know about a topic when we're reading. And some questions that we might have are what we want to know. So today we're going to be focusing on making something called a KWL chart. So a KWL chart a lot of times looks like this. And it says bears because the topic is bears. We're learning about bears. K stands for no. So before I read, I need to think, what do I already know about bears? What's something I either have learned before about bears, something that I have been told about bears? What's one thing or more that I already know about bears? So under where you would write K for no, or the word no, write something you know about bears. Now remember, this is something you know before you read, so you need to do this before you go look at the read aloud. Then the W, it says wonder, what you wonder, or what you want to know. So you need to think of a question you have about bears. Maybe you don't know what their diet is, what they eat. Maybe that's something you want to know. So you might write, what do bears eat? Maybe you don't know about their habitat, where they live. So you would write that down. And then L stands for learned. What's one thing or more that you learned after reading this? So your know section, what you already know, comes before you read. And your wonder section comes before you read. You're asking questions before you read. Learned comes after because this is something that was in the book. If we found the answer to our question, to what we wanted to know, we can write that there. If we didn't, we can remember that that's something we're looking for and we'll look in a different book, see if we can find it. So your job will be to make a KWL chart. Write at least one thing you already know about bears. Then write at least one question you have about bears. Then you'll listen to the read aloud. And then after you've listened to the read aloud, you'll come back to your chart and write at least one thing you learned. If you didn't find the answer to your question, go see if you can find it. If you still have the question and can't find it, tell me what your question is. I'll help you find it. All right. Good luck, ladies. Can't wait to see what you learn.